Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Tatsu Nakayama, Japanese lawyer. I'm highly honored to be given this precious opportunity to speak at IRF Summit. I have been representing Family Federation, though I'm not a believer, since the assassination of ex-Prime Minister Abe. With my experience, I learned a lot, and today I'm going to share with you why the Family Federation in Japan should not be dissolved in 3 points. Number 1, political fight, which is going beneath the legal issues pending in Japan. Number 2, deprogramming, which is also hidden underneath. And number point 3, I will conclude that there should be no requirement for dissolution of the Family Federation. Point number 1, political and ideological fight has been ongoing in Japan from way back before. In 1978, Japan Communist Party declared war on anti-communist unification church. Evidencing this, couple of months after Abe assassination, when commented by a famous journalist that, this conflict should be a final war against the unification church. Then, in response to this, Communist Party chairperson Kazuo Oshii admitted that final war and added that this time we will do whatever it takes until we get it done. With such strong words, left-wing parties have been aggressively fought against Family Federation. And along with this political movement, in Japan, left-wing lawyers have been very aggressive and very influential among mass media and also the Japanese government. They are anti-religious, many are communist, and started a dissolution campaign in 1987, meaning in order to dissolve Family Federation, Japanese Family Federation, we will do whatever. And they worked with notorious deprogrammers, who deprogrammed, as you may not believe, as many as 4,300 poor Family Federation believers and broke the faith of many. Top 2 gentlemen of these left-wing lawyers are Hiroshi Yamaguchi in the left and Masaki Kito, current leader, in the right. They are lawyers, but they could be called as political figures or political activists because they even knew that at the time of the commencement of this political fight, there were no victims, meaning even though there are no legal victims, they continued to argue to create victims and made many lawsuits for refund of donations made by believers representing apostates. Despite such political campaign, as a lawyer, legally speaking, I do not think there is a requirement for dissolution because in Japan, the legal requirement for dissolution of the religious corporation is very high. Article 81 of the Religious Corporation Act says religious corporations can be dissolved only if they commit an act which is clearly found to harm public welfare extremely, which is very high criteria, and that in violation of laws and regulations. Those in red here has been debated so much after Abe assassination because, according to case laws in Japan, laws here have been limited to only criminal laws, which means in order to dissolve religious corporation, criminal law must be broken. On the other hand, in the present case of Family Federation, since its foundation about 60 years ago, no criminal law has been broken, which means there is no legal reason to dissolve Family Federation. Indeed, our Prime Minister Kishida admitted that case law and said at the Diet on October 18, 2022, he said only criminal laws should be included, which means at that time, the government did not intend to file a dissolution suit against Family Federation. However, very surprisingly, and very strangely enough, he did 180. He changed his mind completely in one single night and said the next day that civil laws can be included, which means that civil lawsuits filed against family federation and they lost some, which could be another reason for dissolution of the federation, which became a start to proceed for dissolution suit of the federation. However, legally speaking, many of such lawsuits against family federation we see puppet connections. We can call it post-puppet lawsuits. What happened is like this. The programmers, in consultation with left-wing lawyers, deprogrammed as many as 4,000 plus believers, and they forced the poor believer to file a lawsuit against Family Federation for donation refund, saying like this: unless you file a lawsuit, we continue to take you as mind controlled by Family Federation. So do file an action against Family Federation, otherwise we will continue to confine you, imprison you for deprogramming. And in order to make money for legal fee, left-wing lawyers continued this circle as an ecosystem. This ecosystem we can find in graph here. Red line here, number of 4,000 deprogrammings came to a peak after Communist Party's declaration of war against the Unification Church and left-wing lawyers' political campaign. What follows is blue line here, number of lawsuits filed against Family Federation. From this visible, intimate correlation between red and blue, you can note many of the lawsuits against Family Federation are made or are forced as puppet using deprogrammings. This correlation came to an end in 2015 when Mr. Toru Goto, skinny gentleman here, who suffered very long time, 12 years confinement, and who filed a lawsuit against deprogrammer and won a victory at the Supreme Court of Japan. Indeed, very unfortunately, such forced puppet lawsuits caused dissolution suit pending in Japan. Historically speaking, deprogramming lasted 50 years in Japan, and some of them are made for forced puppet lawsuits, which could be one of the main reasons for the dissolution suit pending in Japan. But after a careful legal analysis, we found that more than half, 55% of the plaintiffs are poor deprogrammed victims. With this in mind, I don't believe Family Federation should be dissolved. I will wrap up in one page. What is going now in Japan is a dissolution suit against Family Federation. Main reason is many lawsuits filed against Family Federation initiated by left-wing lawyers. But what lies underneath is another framework B, which is 4,000 unhumane deprogramming. Indeed, Japan has rejected dissolution so many times, demanding left-wing lawyers requested for dissolution of Family Federation to the government many times. 30 years ago, government rejected 2 times, and recently, Tokyo District Court also rejected to dissolve the Family Federation. And in the course of this, Family Federation issued a declaration of compliance intended to improve their internal operation, which actually worked. Evidencing this, in this recent 7 years, no single lawsuit has been filed against Family Federation. With this, I hope you will be convinced that there is no requirement for dissolution. I will conclude in one page. Family Federation in Japan has not committed any crimes in the 60 years. Indeed, lost in some civil lawsuits for refund donation, but half of the plaintiffs were deprogrammed, and that They improved compliance recently in these 15 years. Thank you for your attention. Most of what I shared is written in my booklet published last year in Japan, and English translation of which you can find in Bitter Winter. Thank you again. Lastly, I strongly hope that with the kind attention and kind support of you, distinguished guests and honorable minds at IRF Summit, religious freedom of Japan should be protected at any cost. Thank you very much.